Hey Canterbury, my name is Tori Hastings and I'm one of the pastors here. As we continue into the summer months, I just want to say I still very much miss you guys and look forward to the time that we can come back and be together. Last week, Keith sent out a message about what our plans are going forward, and as is the case with most things these days, that will probably ever be changing as we get more information and as things continue to evolve. But until we're back in this space together, know that being here remains a little bit awkward. Talking to a camera is still not my favorite. And being in this empty room without all of you just makes me a little bit sad. But one thing that I thought we might talk about this week is as we inch further into a new normal, as we begin to come a little bit less out of social isolation, what are the things that from the last 6, 7, 8 weeks you really appreciated, you really enjoyed, that really added value and happiness and health and wholeness to your life and to the life of your family collectively? What are the things you didn't enjoy so much? What are the realizations that you've had about who you are and how you are in the world? And how are you going to be able to carry those forward as our time gets a little more stretched and our schedules possibly a little more full? One of the things John Carl, my husband, and I have talked about is just being home together for meals and feeling a little bit less busy and a little bit less rushed has made us better husband and wife, have made us better parents, better friends, better colleagues. Thomas Merton once said that busyness is actually a form of violence. Now, that's a little bit dramatic maybe, but when we think about our lives and how busy we can sometimes let them become, there's a little bit of truth to that. One of the things I've been thinking about lately when it comes to our life as we go forward and as we don't have quite as much time at home or alone or with the people that we love is how we make that shift. And one of the stories that comes to mind is when Jesus appears to the disciples in John's gospel. In John 21, it says this: "Later, Jesus himself appeared again to his disciples at the Sea of Tiberias. This is how it happened. Simon Peter, Thomas, called Didymus, Nathanael from Cana in Galilee, Zebedee's sons, and 2 other disciples were together. Simon Peter told them, 'I'm going fishing.' They said, 'We'll go with you.' And they set out in a boat, but throughout the night they caught nothing. Early in the morning, Jesus stood on the shore, but the disciples didn't recognize him. Jesus called them, 'Children, have you caught anything to eat?' They answered him, 'No.' He said, 'Cast your net on the right side of the boat and you will find some.' So they did, and there were so many fish that they couldn't haul the net in. Then the disciple whom Jesus loved said to Peter, 'It's the Lord.' When Simon Peter heard it was the Lord, he wrapped his coat around himself, for he was naked, and jumped into the water. The other disciples followed in the boat, dragging the net full of fish, for they weren't far from the shore, only about 100 yards. When they landed, they saw a fire with fish on it and some bread. Jesus said to them, 'Bring some of the fish that you just caught.' Simon Peter got up and pulled the net to shore. It was full of large fish, 153 of them. Yet the net hadn't torn, even with so many fish. Jesus said to them, 'Come and have breakfast.' None of the disciples could bring themselves to ask him, 'Who are you?' They knew it was the Lord. Jesus came, took bread, and gave it to them. He did the same with the fish. This was now the 3rd time Jesus appeared to his disciples after he was raised from the dead." One of the things that strikes me about this passage is that after Jesus is arrested and crucified and dies, and after the disciples have scattered and they're not sure what to do because the 3 years that they have just spent with Jesus now seems, I guess, all for naught, and the reality that they thought they knew seems to have fallen by the wayside, Peter does the only thing he knows to do, to go back to what his life was like before his life with Jesus. And so he goes fishing. And I think whenever we have new moments in our lives, whenever we have new experiences, new awakenings, new ahas, and then when things start to subside and normalcy starts to resume, it's easy to go back to the way things were before, to our same habits, to our same schedules, to our same everything. And so I guess I want to challenge you and encourage you to maybe not go back to completely the way that you were or the way things were before. Spend a little bit of time thinking about the things that you've really loved over the last 7 weeks. Maybe it's family meals. Maybe it's long walks. Maybe it's bird watching. Maybe it's set apart time to talk with friends for longer time than you would have been able to otherwise. And try to hold on to that instead of just going back to what it is that you have always known and what it is that you have always done. Like I said, I look forward to when we are together again. But one of my greatest hopes and my greatest prayers for us as a church family is that when we are together again, we won't be like Peter and just go back fishing like we've always done, but we will allow the experience that we've had over the last 7 weeks and whatever experience that Jesus has had in our hearts, both in expected and unexpected ways, because that seems to be the way that Jesus works the best and the most often, the unexpected. That we'll be able to take that and be changed and transformed for the better. That once we're together again and once we come back together corporately, there will be no way we can go back to the way things were because we have been changed and made more like Christ. And once we're together, we'll be able to see that in fullness. And so I miss you all. I love you all. I look forward to being with you all. Amen.
When darkness tries to roll over my bones, and sorrow comes to steal the joy I own, brokenness and pain is all I know, I won't be shaken, I won't be shaken. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in your love. My fear doesn't stand a chance.